ever wished that you could teach online and travel the world? Well, that's exactly what I do. And Airbnb is the secret that has made it all possible. In this video, I'm breaking down exactly how I Airbnb my home while teaching online, the financial side of it, and how this lifestyle lets me keep working as an actress and an educator, all while exploring new places. But when my husband and I started to kind of craft this dream idea that we thought, how would this be possible financially? Because it sounds great, right? Everybody talks about teaching online all the time. There's so many people out there that say, teach online, get your freedom. Never in my mind would I ever think that Airbnb would give me the lifestyle that I need. The month before, we were scheduled to go to another state so my husband could work a contract. I was looking through Airbnb for places to stay, and I had booked a place to stay, and I thought, well, we have a very nice home. We live a very minimalistic life. There's not a lot of extra stuff kind of sitting around. That's just how we naturally live now. So why can't we be a host? How does that work? I didn't even know. I knew how it works as a guest, but I started wondering, well, I'm really good with online. I'm really good with design and how images look and how to tell a story with images. I create a lot of websites for my clients. And so I kind of already know the back end of how to do this. I literally went on Airbnb and I started listing my home, started creating a profile, and then it said, do you want to go live? And I thought, well, if I go live, I guess that means that people can book. So I filled everything out, super simple, super easy. And this video isn't even sponsored by Airbnb, but if you want to sponsor me, let's talk, let's collaborate, because I fully believe in the platform, both as a host and as a guest. Hit me up. But I started filling everything out. And then it said, do you want to go live? And I thought, well, I better put the dates that we're not going to be here. So if someone does decide to book me, I don't know who would, but if someone does decide to book our home, that they can book it, that we're not going to be here. I'm not kidding you when I tell you that the profile, our account, went active. And within 24 hours, we had a booking. And at that time, I didn't really know. I had watched a couple of YouTube videos. Thank you for people that put YouTube videos out there about Airbnb. But I had watched a couple of YouTube videos, so I had some idea. And I didn't know that that I had instant book on. I didn't have approval. Somebody could just go, click, reserve, and pay. And that's what they did. Thank goodness that this first couple were such lovely humans. They were our first guest. It was like I look back and I think the price was like less than half of what we charge now, because we just didn't know. And we just thought, well, let's just give a discount. We have no reviews. Let's see what happens. They were such lovely humans. They were our first guests. And we were so nervous, but they booked within 24 hours. They scheduled their stay with the availability that we had coming up in literally like a few weeks when we were not going to be there. And because our home was newly remodeled and we have a very minimalistic lifestyle, and we set it up, I'd done research on what's best for an Airbnb, what does a guest want? And as a guest myself, I knew what I would want if I was staying for a trip at someone's home. I knew what I'd want and what I didn't want in an Airbnb stay. So I was able to design it and fix the home in a way that would work for two other humans in the house and their pet. And I was just so excited that we made money the first time within 24 hours of listing our home. And ever since then, we have been booked nonstop. And we have gotten smarter. We have raised our prices since that first month went by. And it's become a business that makes us almost as much as we make in all of our other areas of income. What it has allowed us to do is to have that financial income so that we can live in other places. Example being right now, we are on the East Coast in another place that we love to stay at. And it gives us the time right now in the season to hit audition season for musical theater on the East Coast, which is something that we're both doing right now. And then it gives us the ability to say, when do you want to go home? And if we have time where it's maybe a month, or maybe we've stayed for sometimes 2 months at our home, then we can block that out and we can make our schedule work for us. And that's the most exciting part about it, that it's given us flexibility so that we can travel pretty much whenever we want. And that if we get really homesick, then we go back home. Also, what's been really amazing is that because I am fully 100% online with my teaching, other than when I'm performing, when I book a job, it makes it where I can be anywhere in the world. And that's the running joke with my clients and my students. They get on the call and they're like, okay, Ashley, where are you today in the world? And I'm like, you'll never know. Well, I tell them where I am in the world, but you might be able to look out the window in my place today and get some idea of where I am, but I am a little bit of a private human being, even though I post here on YouTube. I jump back and forth between the West Coast and the East Coast. I also jump back and forth between Mexico, and I jump back and forth between the Midwest sometimes. But our goal in the coming years, depending on a lot of other factors with our online teaching and the jobs that we have, that we book, because we're both actors and educators and directors in theater, and now I'm getting into on-camera work, it allows us the flexibility to say, okay, we need to be here for a chunk of time for our work. But if we want to just travel, the next goal, which is my point here, the next goal is we would love to go abroad for a longer period of time, like a month or two in other country, like Italy, or a month or two in Spain. We've both traveled quite a lot when we were in our 20s. We both worked on cruise ships as performers, both together and separately before we got together. And so we just want to go back as adults now and travel. And the way that I can financially do that is, one, I teach online, and my clients and my students, my courses, everything I have is online on my own, not with an institution anymore as a professor. And two, it gives us the ability, because of Airbnb, to have that financial income so that it covers where we stay. It almost cancels each other out. Some months we do make more money than paying all of our bills in another place. And some months we kind of break even. And then the months that we are not Airbnb our home because we're there, then we just kind of we don't even break even because we're not making money from it. It's just like the normal mortgage or rent because we're not paying for some other place. It takes a certain kind of person to be able to do this, though. I don't have kids, and that's something that just isn't something that I wanted in my lifetime. And we have one pet, and we have accommodations for that pet, but it has to be right for you, right for your partner in life, your spouse, whoever you're with at the time, whether you're single or with somebody. It has to work for your lifestyle because it is not for everyone. Let me also dive into the pros and cons, because as we all know in life, nothing is perfect by any means. Pros for Airbnb your home and teaching online means I can include other parts and careers of my life as an artist. So I have the flexibility to be in New York City, which is right now during audition season. I have the flexibility to come and go as I please in my home. That's a huge pro for us. Another pro is that because we make so much income off of our home on Airbnb rentals, that it pays for wherever else we want to stay. And generally, we have an excess amount that we can help to keep up the home, that it helps us with our renovations, our updates, things our guests really say they want more of. And we can be a better Airbnb host, which in turn keeps us booked and keeps our guests happy. And then we can continue to raise our price. Another pro is that something that we're really passionate about. If you've seen this on my other videos, there are videos where you see me at my house. You just may not know it, but we have a home gym there. And we've been able to add to that home gym because it's something that's really important to us. Sometimes the guests use it, sometimes they don't. But as someone that works from home and teaches online, I need a gym in my home. And that's another pro about traveling, is if we're going to stay somewhere for a couple of months, or if we're even going to do some type of a lease, then I want to make sure that in the building that we're living in, there's some type of a gym. And that's kind of where we are right now, is a building that is more kind of a luxury building that includes a gym, includes like a coffee bar, it includes conference rooms, which you've probably seen some of my video content in a conference room before, because that works for our lifestyle. And that's another pro. It gives us the money and the ability to have a suburban life and an urban life, to stay on an organic farm in Mexico, to stay in a luxury, high-rise building, to experience life that someone else has that we want to just see for a month or so and check out. All of that is allowed to us because of Airbnb. And also, number two, because the jobs that we do are almost fully 100% online. So those are the pros for us. Now, cons, okay? They're always good with the bad, right? Some of the cons are we have to know 6 months in advance what our plan is for our home. We tend to book 6 months in advance. We have regulars now that come and stay for like the summer, long extended stays because their family is there and they'll come and stay for a month or two. So we have to know 6 months in advance kind of the idea of where we want to be. And sometimes that can get really frustrating because we're like, I want to go home. There's no reason to be here, but my home, someone else is in. And that's just part of it. Another con is that we do get homesick because when we travel, generally most of the time we're traveling with a couple of suitcases. We travel very minimalistic. And we have built up a large amount of items that we travel with that make us feel like home, or we buy them when we get there. But the con is that you don't have everything that you need. And if you want to do a lease, then you're kind of stuck in that lease for 6 months or 8 months, whatever we decide to do. We're stuck in that lease for a little bit of time. And that's kind of where we are even in this moment right now, is we have to finish out. We have a couple more months to finish out our lease here, but we're a little homesick. And so if we block off time in our home, then we don't make that income. And so we kind of go in the hole for that month. We have to navigate that. So those are the cons. I mean, another con is that someone is in your home and it's our home. It's our dream home. Someone's in our home and people are going to break things and people are going to think something you have in your home isn't as nice as it should be, or the way you have your home set up doesn't work for them or whatever. And you have to take those thoughts and opinions and just roll with it and know that it is still a business. Your home on Airbnb, it's still a business, even though it's very personal to you. And in turn, that works in our favor on Airbnb. We book so much more because the home is fully decked out because someone does really live there versus what most Airbnbs are like. And because we work from home, I have a whole home office set up. You've probably seen home gym. I have equipment there. Leave all my lighting equipment set up for them. And that still allows us to, again, create a lifestyle that is worthy for us, that makes us happy, and that accentuates the chapter of life that we're living in right now for both of us together. And that really has to be something you keep in mind. If this is something you're thinking about, is it going to work for you? And I just wanted to share that personal story with you because a lot of you have been following me for a while for my Canvas videos. And I teach online, yes, but being a professor was really, it was frying me. I was so burned out and I wanted something more in life. If you've ever thought about, teaching online and traveling, I hope that this video was helpful, give you some insight. Maybe it's something that you're interested in researching. Let me know down in the comments below where you would want to travel to if this was something that you decided to do, or if you do it, where would you want to go? Dream vacation, where is it? Dream staycation, dream life for a month or two. And don't forget to subscribe for more online teaching tips. I have more videos coming out every single week.